Hello everyone, we're on to 3.8. We're going to do our last two types of drawings. Mercifully for me, I'm maxed out with all these drawings. It's tough for me, but I'm enjoying it. So this is 3.8 on oblique drawings. We're going to look at two types of oblique drawings. So oblique drawings, remember, these are examples of pictorial drawings. We did one of those last day when we did isometric drawings, and we've also done one before when we did the perspective drawings, the 1-point and 2-point perspective drawings. These are all pictorial drawings. So oblique drawings, what makes them unique is the following. They're used to produce 2D drawings of 3D objects. Well, that's not unique, so do the other things. So again, you got three-dimensional objects and you put it on a two-dimensional surface, piece of paper, computer screen, whatever. They're shown face on. So it's like you're directly in front of the object. So this is like when you put a cube on the board, right? If I was at the front of the classroom and I said, "Hey, you've got a cube," and I draw something that looks like this. I draw this. There's my front face of the cube that you're looking straight on, and then I draw the rest of it like this. This is an example of an oblique drawing. Okay, so shown face on is very important. They're often drawn on square dot or square grid paper. I'm going to use some square grid paper here. And is that it? Oh, there's two types. The first type is called Cavalier, and the second type is called cabinet drawing. So let's take a look at Cavalier first. Cavalier drawings, everything's drawn to scale. You know what scale diagrams look like. If this thing here, which we're going to draw, if this is drawn 8 to 12 to 20, it doesn't mean you have to draw it 8 to 12 to 20, but you have to do everything to the same proportion, right? Receding lines, so these like lines that are going backwards like this, they're drawn anywhere between 15 degrees and 45, but most often people use 45, and I think that's what I'll use today because it's actually easiest to use 45 when you're using paper like this. You know why? Because a 45-degree angle, if you go from one corner to the diagonal like this, that's going to be 45 degrees right there. So I think 45 degrees is easiest since we're using this paper, and that's what I'll use. But you could go lower than 45 if you wanted. Rather than putting something at 45 degrees like this, you could do something that's less than 45 and go back like this or something like that. All right, I think there's something else here. They look distorted. When you finish your drawing, it actually looks a little deeper than it actually is in reality. So we'll take a look at that, and that's it. Okay, so here we go. We're going to take this box right here, and we're going to make a Cavalier drawing of it. So the first thing we have to do is we have to focus in on the front face, and I'm going to make this the front face, right? This right here. And I need to do it to scale. I don't want to go so it's 20 by 8. I don't really want to go 20 across because I don't have that much. But I could maybe do this with a scale. Like, what could I divide all these by? 20, 8, and 12. I see that 2 goes into them, and 4 also goes into them. Why don't we divide them all by 4? If we do that, then this amount here will actually only be 3 centimeters. This will be, right, 12 divided by 4 is 3. 20 divided by 4 is 5. And 8 divided by 4 is 2. So if we use those dimensions instead of the 12, 20, and 8, if we use the 3, the 5, and the 2, we're still keeping it to scale. So why don't we do that? So I'm going to start with the front. I have to go 5 across and 2 down. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 down. 1, 2, and then we'll finish off that rectangle. And there you go. There's your front face. Now, we need to go back 3, but you can't go like this, 1, 2, 3. You know why? Because the distance from here to here is not equal to the distance from here to here, for example. Those are different distances. So it's a bit of a drag, but it's okay. We can do this. So first of all, we know the 45-degree angle. We already talked about that. It's going to go right along that diagonal there. We want to go back 3. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a ruler. Okay, here's my ruler, and you can see, if you look over here, that from across one of these squares here, it's actually 1 centimeter. Exactly 1 centimeter. So if I want to go back 3, I need to go back 3 centimeters, right? So let's see if I can figure out how to do this. I'm going to swing this around so it's on a 45-degree angle. How should I do that? I'll go here. Give me a second here. I think that's pretty much on a 45-degree angle. And I want to go back 3. So if I put it on the 3, that means I would want to go back to here. And if I move this up and put the 3 here, I'd want to go back to about here. And that should be good. I should be able to draw a line straight from here to here to connect those. Oh, sorry, I need to do one more, don't I? I need to go back 3 here as well. So that would take us from here to about there. And then I can join those lines together. And that should just about do it. So that would be my drawing right there. I could label it. So now don't label it with the 3, the 5, and the 2. Label it with the 12, the 20, and the 8. So it was 12 centimeters this way, 20 centimeters this way, and 8 centimeters this way. Now, do you see why it's a little bit distorted here? Doesn't it look like this is going way back here? Like really, it kind of looks like that distance is equal to, if not more, than this distance here. So it's not awesome when you do this. I mean, it's really great if you want to just do your measurements because it's all to scale, so you can use this to really see your measurements. But if you just look at it, it's just a little bit distorted. Maybe to help you really understand that, I'm going to draw a really simple cube here. I'm going to draw a 2 by 2 cube. So I'm going to go down 2, I'm going to go over 2, I'm going to go up 2, I'm going to go back 2, and this time I'll go off to the other direction. I'll go off to the right this time at my 45-degree angle. Okay, since this was 2 by 2, I have to go back 2 again. So if I go here, that would mean going back to about there. This one would mean going back to about there. And this one would mean going back to about there. So now I can get the ruler out of the way and join those lines together, and I think you're seeing already, this does not look like a great cube, does it? I mean, it looks like it goes way too far back to actually be considered a cube. So this is the problem with the Cavalier drawings. Yeah, it's all to scale. Well, again, we have this as a 2 by 2 by 2 cube. It just doesn't look right. So that takes us to the second type of oblique drawing, and that it's an attempt to solve this distortion here. So the second type is called a cabinet drawing. It's called a cabinet drawing because it's commonly used in the furniture industry. When they're doing illustrations of furniture, they often use cabinet drawings. Its front face is drawn to scale, so the front is going to look exactly the same. The receding lines are drawn at usually a greater angle. It can be less than 63 degrees, but it's usually right around 63 degrees. I know it's very random, but it's usually around 63 degrees. I think we could do 45 again. It's not a problem. So I'm thinking maybe we'll do that just for comparison's sake. Maybe we'll use the 45 degrees again. It's easier too. And here's the big thing. Highlight this or something. The receding lines are drawn to 1/2 scale. You only do a 1/2 scale when you're going back. So that's going to try to make it look less distorted. And this removes some of the distortion. As I said, the cube will actually look like a cube. Well, we hope so. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to start with the front face again, just like we did before, right? We're going to start with this face right here. And let's do the scaling again. We don't want to draw this 20 centimeters across. It's too big. So remember we divided them all by 4, I believe. So 20 actually became 5. Our 8 divided by 4 is 2. And our 12 divided by 4 is 3. But here's the thing. Look at that highlighted part up here. The receding lines, that's a receding line going backwards, are drawn to 1/2 scale. So you're actually going to make it half as much. Rather than being 3, it's actually going to go back 1.5. 1.5 is actually how much that will go by. This is the key difference between Cavalier and cabinet. Alright, so let's start with this yellow face here. It's going to be 5 by 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then up 2, and we'll finish that off just like that. Okay, now we want to go back. We're going to do the 45-degree angle. Remember, it says it's often a little more than that, 63, but I want to be able to compare it to the one on the other side of the page. So we're going to go back at 45-degree angle, which you are allowed to do. This is just an often thing. It's not an always thing. And we're only going to go back 1.5 this time, not 3, 1.5. Well, I guess I need my ruler again. Okay, here's my ruler. I'm going to put 1.5 exactly at this point here. So then from 1.5 to 0 would be 1.5. So that's where I want to go. I want to go back to there. So back to here. Then I'll move this up to here, put it at 1.5 again, and move back there. And one more time, move it over to here, put it at 1.5, and that would take us from here to there. Okay, we can join all those together with straight lines. That, and we're done. Now what do you think? If you look at that and compare it to what we're supposed to come up with here, I think it's maybe a little bit better. Now I know it's hard because this one's already distorted, but that cube I think will be the clincher here. So let me label this first of all. You still label it the original numbers. So 20, 8, and 12. 20 centimeters, 8 centimeters, and 12 centimeters. Okay, let's try that cube, the 2 by 2 cube. So it's 2 this way, 2 this way, 2 this way, and 2 this way. And again, because these are all centimeter squares, I have to go back 2. No, wait a minute. I don't actually go back 2, do I? Because this is a cabinet drawing, I go back half as far, so I'm actually only going to go back 1 centimeter. So let me get my ruler situated the right way. Something like that. And I only have to go 1 this time. So 1 here, which is just to there. 1 here, which would take you back to about here. And 1 here takes you back to about there. Get rid of my ruler. Join the lines together. And what do you think? Does this look more like a cube or less like a cube than what we did before? I'm going with more. I think it's looking good. If you want to compare, there's our pictures. On this side, we have our 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter cube that really does look like a cube. Compare that to here. Boy, that does not look like a cube. And then we've got this red box. Compare it to that. And then also same box. Compared to this, I think this one looks better. So if you're going for looks, cabinet drawing seems to be the way to go. If you're going for something that's useful in terms of being able to measure and see exactly everything to scale, then I guess Cavalier drawing would probably be the way to go. When I draw something on the board, or anyone draws something on the board, they're probably doing their best approximation of a cabinet drawing, aren't they? They want the cube that you draw on the board to look right. So I guess in a sense you're doing a cabinet drawing on the board when you draw a cube. Alright everyone, I think that takes us through all the different types of drawings. You made it, but more importantly, I made it. Take care and see you next time.